believe we're already at episode 16.
That's weird to think that we started just in November. November 1st was the day our episode first came out, our first one.
Mm-hmm.
And now 16 in. It doesn't feel like that much. I don't feel like I've read 16 episodes worth of stories.
They're going by really fast, and you continually are coming up with all these different subjects, and you're constantly finding new stories. It was awesome to be able to have you guys the last time that I was on with all of your stories, so please continue to submit those.
I love listener write-ins. Those are so cool just to hear people's experience. They're like, oh, I listened to your podcast and it reminded me of my experience. And I think that's a really cool way just to relate to people a little bit and build a small community of, oh, I experienced this and this is what happened to me and all these things. I think that's super cool. I enjoy that. Mm-hmm. It's really fun. I have a listener write in for this episode. She was ever so gracious to share her story and was very excited about it. And I am too. I'm excited to read them. I always love reading people's stories. So I'll point it out when I get there so everyone knows that's her story. But today, I honestly didn't know what I want to do. And I feel like that's kind of been the theme for the last few episodes. I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. And then I come up with something last minute. Because when I read the listener write-in, I knew I wanted that in this episode, but I wanted stories to complement it. I was like, oh, I don't know what I want to do with this. So I think today, I don't know what I'm going to officially title this episode, but the general theme is just oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. Why am I doing this to myself?
I don't know what you're
I'm just going to leave people on the edge here. The title of the theme is... I don't know. That's terrible.
Blank.
Fill in the blank. Title it for me.
The way that you're bringing it up and talking about it makes me almost feel like you're a chef trying to put together a menu. You're like, I wanted stories that would complement the flavor of the listener submission.
Of this episode is broccoli.
Broccoli. That's the title.
It's a broccoli episode.
It's a broccoli episode.
Giving broccoli. Can I title that? No one would ever know unless you listen to it. Be like, why do we have broccoli on
I
this?
guess it's just an inside joke now.
Yeah, no. I mean, no, actually, what I was actually going to say is it came back in, so thank you for stalling until my brain got put back together.
You're welcome.
No, the theme is more so unsettled. I read these and I'm just... I feel unsettled and creeped out. So that's the song I'm a little unsteady. I'm a little unsettled.
Gotcha.
That's kind of the feel that I get from these stories. And I haven't read through these fully, but I have the gist of it.
Gotcha.
So hopefully I don't botch the reading of it. I'm hoping, but I might, and that's okay. Because we can't all be good readers, and I am not one of them.
I think you're a perfectly fine reader.
I stutter a lot, and I feel like people think I can't read. I don't know which famous person it is, but oh, this person can't read. It's such a huge rumor, this girl cannot read. I don't know who it is.
I don't know.
I see it all the time on TikTok. They're the rumors are true, because she looks at something to read, she's and then puts it away. And it's she probably can read. The fact there's a rumor out there that she can't read is hilarious to me.
Now I'm genuinely curious who this is. I don't follow celebrities, but
I would have to find it. Maybe I'll do some dating on TikTok after this, but I genuinely don't know.
Okay.
Maybe. So we'll see. So I'm going to do my best, because it's actually been a week and a half since a week and a half-ish since we've podcasted. Because I podcasted with Paige last time. The last episode was Paige.
Yes, and that was, a week and a half ago, because you guys recorded on a Saturday, wasn't it?
And then I got COVID on the following Thursday. And then, I was out for a week, and now I'm back, because I just got out of quarantine last week.
Mm-hmm. Well, we both, I kind of gave it to her.
Yeah,
our voices were awful.
You're rude.
It was very rude. I'm sorry.
It was not a good time. I was down for the count for a few days, but I'm back, and I think my voice is, for the most part, back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted to originally record last weekend. No, not last weekend. The weekend before. Yes, because, 2 weekends ago, but again, I was down for the count and had COVID, and then my voice sucked, and I didn't want people to be miserable listening to that because that would be a terrible experience and I didn't want to like be mean to our listeners. So I had to wait till my voice was better. So I think it's good now. I think we're good.
I think we're good.
I feel like my brain's working on like 50% right now.
Well, do we put that 50% to the test and get to some of the stories here?
I think roughly 5% of my brain is going to go to this, and the other 45% is going to be thinking about dinner and bedtime.
Dinner and bed.
Dinner and bedtime. Dinner and bed. Yeah, that's, well, for anyone who's listening, I just got done working an almost 12-hour shift, so I am a tad tired. Honestly, it was a pretty easy shift. I didn't do a whole lot. It's okay. It's okay. On to the stories. I'm not going to make the people wait anymore because I know that's what they're here for. Let's be real. You don't want to listen to me rant for 20 minutes about my workday. You want to listen to the stories. Well, you're a fiance, not a listener off of Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever. They came here for the story. They don't care about that.
There we go.
I do, but it's okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I want to hear these. I'm excited.
Okay. A strange, mute man in Madrid just scribbled to me that I have 5 years to live. I, 22 male, landed today in Madrid for work and thought I'd go around town a bit since it had been a little while since I'd last been here, with COVID and all. I spent my afternoon all over the place. Suffice to say, I had a pretty nice time. And now, as the shop started to close, I decided to head home. Upon arriving at the metro station, I sit on the wall to have a smoke, and I finish rolling it. As I'm about to light it, an old man, who was the ex-president. We go back and forth while I'm trying to understand his handwriting. He writes what I would like to be called. I thought of giving him a fake name because I was getting weird vibes from him, but I thought, what's the worst thing that could happen? He then goes on to write out my name, has only 5 years left to live if he continues to contaminate our home for his own preserved pleasure, smoking cigarettes. But if from 25-21 you begin taking care of the needs of the present, it was a little illegible from when he was writing, along the lines of you will live at least 20 more years. I was visibly freaked out, but remained polite. He then tore out the page and gave it to me. He then switched to a much lighter tone and repeated the smoking gesture, and followed by a drinking version and a thumbs up. Before turning and slowly walking away, without looking back or stopping for anyone, I went down into the metro. Now I'm here in the metro, freaked out and thinking, what the fuck? And I don't know what to think right now. So honestly, I don't feel like that was a super well-written story. But essentially, the gist is this man told him that you have 5 years left to live if you keep smoking like that.
I want to know, like, the predictive nature of this person. And, like, it's kind of weird. You're in a foreign country, random dude comes up to you, and all of a sudden you just, like, mute dude, writes it, scrawls it, hands it to you, pieces out. Like, that is kind of foreboding. And
how does this dude know the president's name?
The current president of South Africa?
Do you know that?
I mean, I don't know that, but I'm an American.
Well, yes.
Like, we're a little bit isolated.
I don't know the president of any other countries. Call me dumb, but I only know ours.
That's what I'm saying.
But he's not from there, from the sound of it. It doesn't sound like he's from South Africa.
He's not, but the
But
people
how
in
do you
Europe,
know that?
because the people in Europe have a greater worldview than the people in America.
That's-
We are from the Midwest in the center
But
of
that's
one of the...
Europe and Africa. Those are different continents.
Yes, but people in Europe constantly are traveling, as they have to be able to understand, like, all of the different political situations going on all around them.
It's not even like the current president. It's the past president.
I missed that part. I thought it was the current
No,
president.
it was the ex-president. Yeah, it said ex-president.
Maybe he's just out of date and is like, hey, yeah, that's the last person that I knew of, and it was something to be able to strike up about South Africa.
But if the dude's homeless, bro, where'd you get a computer to listen to that? Or a phone? I don't know, maybe I'm reading into it too much, but it kind of freaks me out, I'm not gonna lie. Like, dude, Why do you know this?
I mean, there's computer cafes. You can go sit down, like, at a library. Like, there's a lot of places you can just sit down and get free information from. So, like, I don't think that's necessarily the weird part. The weird part to me would be the fact that the guy's trying to predict my own life. It's like if you sat down with, like, the southern Louisiana kind of like voodoo, like fortune teller types.
I'm thinking like the dude from Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
Like New Orleans type deal.
Yeah, like that's kind of what it.
Love that dude.
Like that
Not a good
whole
dude.
stuff is based off of.
Yeah.
But that's like the vibe that I get from it is like somebody who has a weird connection just kind of spits something out random to you, and then he just like turned around and walked away, and like that's it.
He's like, ha, you're gonna die. Now I'm gonna dip.
Yeah. Imagine if somebody in a subway just says that to you.
Yeah, I don't like that. I feel like if anyone walked up to me on the street and told me I was gonna die, I'd probably be freaked out.
You could be in a rose garden and somebody's gonna like, you're dead.
Oh, don't look at me like that. Oh my god. What? Keep your eyeballs in your head. My goodness. That was disgusting. Don't ever look at me like that again. If you looked at me like that when you were like sleeping or in the dark, I think we'd just have to be done. I'd probably punch you in the face.
You would punch me in the face.
Okay, actually, Paige scared the living shit out of me today. Okay, that's a little dramatic. So at work, we have like a one-way mirror type deal, okay? So we were messing with it. And I was like, oh yeah, I can't see you. And like I was pressing my face right up against it to see if I can see like anything. And she goes up to the window really fast. So I just see this face coming into mine, like, and I backed up and almost screamed. I'm like, dude. Like I knew you were there, but like I just wasn't expecting to see your face coming flying at me. Mm-hmm. So she thought it was funny. I did not.
That would be one of those weird things that you'd see in like a dream. Mm-hmm. Like,
ooh. Yeah, it was like something coming at you. I don't like it.
That face that I made, I was trying to, the movie Smile.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Don't do that.
That's what I was trying to kind of emulate.
I don't know. This old man, this Gandalf man. Oh, he needs that stick.
Not the stick. My grandpa's walking stick.
But, like, I feel like he needs a stick. I feel like that's what he deserves. If anyone's watching on YouTube and wondering what we're doing with our hands, we're petting our beanie baby. Our puppy.
Our dog is being a little needy, so we apologize if you hear any sort of whining, but she's kind of just hanging out in between our feet here.
Nah, I'm not sorry. You know what you were getting yourself into. Just be a dick about it. Just like, I'm not sorry. Listen to my dog scream. Her wavy tail. Hi, Chloe. You're so cute. Yeah. But I think we're ready for the next story. I think we kind of covered all that creepiness and death and dying. Hate that.
Let's do it. Next story.
Okay, next story. So this is the story from our listener write-in. I skimmed this, I got the gist of it, but I wanted to keep a little bit for surprise. So if my reading is bad, I am sorry. Someone commented a mean thing on TikTok, and now I'm like, maybe I do suck. So.
I disagree. I think that your reading's fine. I think that they might just be a little impatient.
Trolls.
Like Joe. Like Joe's constantly listening and watching YouTube at like 2 times or 1.5 times speed.
Yeah, but why he does that?
Because he just wants to get through it faster. Some people just want whatever the content is.
I suppose. Some people are just like that. So I will do my best, and I will read. And again, thank you to this individual for writing in. I appreciate it. And I hope I do it justice. I remember my mom had told me to tell my older sister that she was going to the store, but I wasn't really listening because I was on the phone, and I ended up never telling my sister. So I was in the restroom, and I didn't have any toilet paper. And I kept calling my mom's name, and I heard her outside saying, "I'm outside." And remember, she isn't home. And instead, my sister came into the restroom, and she gave me toilet paper. When I was done, my sister asked me where Mom was, and we were looking for her around the house, and couldn't find her. So me and my sister decided that I would check the backyard, and we'll check out front. We were at my grandpa's house, and it was a huge, big yard with 4 bedrooms and 2 restrooms. Clarify, the house, 4 beds, 2 baths, you know. And then I went to check, and I heard her saying, "Come to the back, I'm over here, come." And I saw a light, and it was like 9 p.m. So I went to go check, but something told me not to go. And I just felt chills go down my spine, and I ran back in. So I didn't tell my sister that I felt weird and scared. So I told her we should look through the window in the front and see if we can see anything. We see this dark black shadow, and my sister stared at it, and she said, "Do you see that?" It was in my grandma's neighbor's house, and it was staring behind the car. I called out to it and said, "Mommy?" It looked at me and my sister, and it ducked down. We heard the fence and saw a black cat running away. Till this day, we knew what we saw wasn't human. And there's another part to this story that she included. I was looking for my mom again, and I came across my stepdad, and he was also looking for her, my grandma's house again. And we looked all over, and we saw her walking towards the back of the house, where there was a room. We followed her, calling her name over and over, and she never responded. And while she was walking, she went into a room, and we followed her. We were only 2 inches, maybe 3 inches behind her, and we turned inside the room and into the closet, and we followed her. She wasn't in there. Ben said she was behind us, my real mom. More mimics!
I was about to say, this sounds like another mimic or like a shade or some weird thing I don't know the name of.
I super want to do an episode full of mimics just because of how common they are. Because I hear people comment on it all the time. People are always commenting on TikToks about their mimic experiences, and I had no idea how common they were.
I hate that every mimic experience that we've come across seems to be leading the people around.
I don't like that.
It like, hello.
Yeah,
and
they
then
guide
it,
you to different places. Like, mine led me upstairs. This led her around the house to the backyard.
Yeah, it was trying to like bring her to the woods.
Oh my god.
Did
yeah,
you-
I suppose.
Yeah, like
that didn't even register with me.
through the house, out the backyard, calls from the woods. It's trying to like lead her away from the rest of her family and to like isolate her.
That's terrifying when you put it like that. That's even worse. I hate that.
That's the first thing that I thought of as I'm reading this. And I'm like, oh god, this is another mimic, isn't it? And then like just dragging her out there, and that's when she got like the creepy feeling, and then she turned around and came back. I was like, I could not. Nope.
No, you would be down for the count. You would not do well
I'm so
with that.
glad. I'm so glad that I've never had any sort of experience like that where it's. Yeah, I'm very hesitant to ever say that I've had like an experience other than the one time, and even then my memory's so foggy and so like rough.
I don't trust your memory. Your memory's shit.
So like, if something like that happened to me in the present and I'm conscious of what's going on around me,
What would
and I
you
know
do?
Nothing that I have seen anybody die in a horror movie. I'm not gonna go towards it. I'm not just gonna like back away slowly staring at it. I'm just gonna turn around and instantly call the police and then try and drive like 4 hours away to get away from whatever the heck's going on.
So if I was coming home later that night, what I'm hearing is you would leave me in the house.
I would not leave you in the house. You would find out from me that just don't go home.
How terrified would that be if I called you and you're like, don't come here. Do not come here. How badly would you freak out? I think I'd have a straight up panic attack. All of my anxiety meds down the hatch. Like, absolutely not.
Yeah, I tend to be like super mellow. And so if I'm like freaked out and I'm like, don't come home. Shay, there's something in the house. Don't come home.
Oh my god,
Like, how
I'd probably
scared are you
shit
gonna
my
be?
pants. This funny part is knowing our relationship and how I am. I'd probably get the feeling that like I need to call you. And, like, I'd call you and be like, I had a feeling. And you'd be like, yeah, don't come home. That's what I picture happening.
Take
which
the
is
sage,
terrifying.
burn everything.
Just burn the sage in a bowl for, like, 6 hours. Smoke out the house. These stories are just, they're unsettling. I hate them. I love the stories, I do. But they're so unsettling. There's like a cobweb up there that we need to clean, and because it's very distracting.
Where? I don't see it.
In the corner, there's like a little thingy.
I don't see it.
Alright, well, maybe I'm just losing my mind. I don't know. Beanie's also mad. Hi, Beanie. We love our Beanie. Sorry for the people that have to listen to me talk to my dog. Are you ready for a third story? We're going through these quick. We're on a roll today.
We're zapping through stuff. We got some good banter going.
Going through the stories. I feel like for you, I need to almost get 4 stories because we just breeze through it.
Can somebody get a soundbite of that going through the stories, and then every time?
Yeah, the stories. I don't know what I'm on today. Always mad.
We need a sound clip or a soundbite of that, and somebody's gonna like take it and kind of mash it together.
I hope it goes viral on TikTok.
Well, I want to see somebody put it together, and then that can be like.
I'm sure there's some TikTokers that would love to have the eye off of them for a little bit. I'm not gonna say who.
Oh gosh.
No, there's drama, and I'm waiting for someone to post on TikTok so I can get some more tea. And to my knowledge, they have not posted yet, so I'm waiting for it.
You and I are on very different sides of TikTok.
We are. Well, I get invested in the drama. They're like, this person did this. I'm like, what'd they do? And then I get all into it. I'm like, I need to know. I like knowing people's business. I'm a very nosy person. So if you give me the opportunity to be in someone's business, I absolutely will be. Because, like, I don't want to be like, oh, man, I love to gossip. Because, like, it's not that I like to gossip. I just like hearing about people's tea. Like, I don't need to talk poorly about anyone. I like knowing what's happening.
We're a little nosy, and that's fine.
I like knowing. I want to be in your business.
Your TikTok and my TikTok, though, like I said, are totally different. Because my TikTok is just full of, like, dog videos.
I think mine is, too.
And Brick Talk.
Oh, I love Brick Talk. Brick Talk's good. Brick Talk is good shit. But, like, I feel like I'm a great person to rant to because you know I'm listening. You know 100%. I'm 100% invested. Because I like knowing your business. And I do care. I'm not going to listen to people, like, rant and be like, oh my god, I just want to know your business. Like, I do actually care, but I'm even more invested. Because I like knowing people's business.
Our lives are so non-drama filled that when you get a chance to be a part of drama in a tertiary standpoint, then you're just excited because there's a little bit of drama somewhere, which is why you like the TV shows that you like.
Except lately. Lately, my life has been taking a deep dive into the shithole that is 2023 so far. But that's okay. That's okay.
Big life changes.
It's not okay. But it's okay.
Big life changes.
Yeah. I don't know. I think life decided that I needed a tough year. Because I've actually had a pretty decent couple years. I didn't love 2022. I did like 2021 and 2020. Surprisingly enough, I had a great 2020. I know many people didn't, but I had a great 2020. But 2023 said, fuck you. And I don't appreciate it. I don't know what I did, but it's out to get me. Okay, we're going to move on to the third story, because I don't think people want to listen to me talk this much. I'm trying to be nice. I don't want to kill anyone's vibe or be like, move on to the next thing.
You're kind of on one today, and it's really fun for me.
Yeah, I don't know why. I feel like it's because all weekend I was actually kind of quiet. I didn't, talk a whole lot this weekend. And even today at work, I didn't talk a whole lot.
Gotta get it all back out. Gotta catch up.
Yeah, so now I'm just, spitting out all my words, bleh, throwing up into the mic a little bit, my words, and, gibberish coming out.
My words.
My words. I tapped the mic. That's okay. Yeah, that's just kind of where we're at. But we're going to do a third story, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to be done. And I'm going to go eat dinner, because I'm still thinking about dinner. I'm also thinking about that damn orange.
Not the orange. We'll tell you about the orange another time. Let's get to the third story.
Get to the third story. You need to earn the right to hear the orange story. I hope someone just sends me an orange in the mail, please. Oh. How I went from a doll enthusiast to throwing away every doll I had.
Ooh. I don't like dolls.
I hate
Or
dolls.
clowns.
I don't know how they are ever an enthusiast. To each their own, but glad you threw them. My family and I lived in the same house for about 4 generations. It's a pretty old house, so it's not surprising that Ohm has some paranormal experiences. My mom has always been interested in the paranormal, so from a young age, combined with the weird things happening around our house, I knew a bit about it. When this happened, I was about 8 years old, and my little brother was about 6. Something to know about my 8-year-old self is that I loved dolls. What sucked was our family never had that much money when I was young, so my doll collection was pretty small and random. The only dolls I had were from my father, who I didn't live with, or gifts from my grandmother and a couple of dollar store knockoff Barbies that had snapped if you blew on them too hard. I always kept these in my room. Always. If I took them out, I had them in a bag, or I was constantly holding them until I returned to my room, where I'd keep them on my bed. I had exactly 6 dolls. A large china doll with a fucked up hair, and my grandmother, who 2 dolls I'd gotten from an aunt. 2 Barbie dolls, and one of those MLP dolls that looked like a high schooler from my dad. I'm now 13 years old and terrified of dolls. You're 13 writing in? Oh my goodness. That's weird. This is just one of the reasons why. Some backstory. I'm assuming this happened on a Sunday. This was over 4 years ago, so I can't remember every single detail. The days prior, my best friend at the time had come over for a sleepover. She, like I do now, hated dolls. So we decided that we'd have our camp out in the living room, all of the way across the house. Keep in mind, the living room and my old room were at literal opposite corners of the house. So we brought a few large blankets and laid them out in front of the TV. This day was the day after said a friend had gone home, and since we were all feeling lazy, we had left the large blanket on the ground. At the time, the only people living in the house were me, my younger brother, and then stepdad, and my grandmother. My grandma is disabled and often stays in her room that's close to mine. She rarely comes out, actually, even to this day. Her room is the largest, with a fridge and a half bathroom, so she really only comes out to take a shower or have dinner with us for the holidays. She's kind of always in her own little world. I only say this because she was the only person in the house that day. That morning, my stepfather had decided to take us to a graveyard. He, like my mom, was fascinated with the paranormal, and he'd often take me or my mom out to one of the old ghost recorder things through cemeteries and places where people were buried. He was always respectful, but it was just another weird thing he'd do and drag us along for. Sometimes I think the things he and my mom did were one of the reasons so many paranormal things seemed to happen to us. But that's what we did that day. I can't remember if anything eventful happened, as he did his ghost recordings, but afterward, we went and got pizza. We came home a few hours after noon. I don't remember why, but I think I had to use the bathroom really bad. So we went home. My mom just gave me the house key to go inside, while she and my stepdad got the pizza and my brother inside. I took the key and quickly pushed open the door. I was about to dart down the hallway before something caught the corner of my eye. Something that wasn't there when we'd left. My sneakers skidded to a halt, and I turned around and looked down the blanket in front of the TV. Slowly, I walked towards it. My blood ran cold. There lay all 6 of my dolls, arranged in a perfect cross facing me, as if they were waiting for me to walk in, just like I had, and see them this way. And when I say a perfect cross, I mean perfect. The largest doll was the center, laying down, eyes open, even though it was one of those dolls that closes their eyes when laying down. For days afterward, I tried to keep its eyes open when on its back. They never kept open. My 2 baby dolls were perfectly aligned, as if someone used a ruler beneath. And on top was my smallest doll, On the sides were my Barbie dolls turned sideways. Additionally, the at first completely wrinkled up blanket had been completely re-flattened against the floor. No wrinkles at all. We hadn't even made it that nice when we first pulled it out. 8-year-old me knew something was very wrong and ran back out to tell my mom. She and my stepdad came and looked, but shrugged it off. These types of things didn't affect them. My stepdad took a few photos, but then later helped me put them all back in my bed. That night, I didn't keep them there. Instead, shoved them all under my bed before I went to sleep. To this day, that area of the living room will give off weird vibes at night.
So when you first started reading this, I thought we were going to get like a Chucky or Annabelle type story.
Me too.
Where like the doll itself is doing like, it's being inhabited by a spirit and is freaking everybody out. And so I was trying to like wait for like, okay, like where could this haunting come from? What's going on? When's it going to happen? And then it's like, no, there's something else in the house that decided it liked playing with your dolls. I'm like, oh, that took a turn I didn't expect.
I hate everything about that. Across, really? You could have just scattered all the baby dolls around the living room floor. You had to put them in a cross, of all things.
Perfectly arranged with the correct, or like, you know, like the heights and like widths and everything. That way it structures really well on a completely flat and smooth blanket.
Yeah, it smoothed out the fucking blanket. Is this ghost like an ex-maid? What?
It's like an OCD spirit.
Yeah, it's like, man, you fucking messy ass kids.
There can't be a wrinkle.
Yeah, the wrinkly blanket. These dolls should be like this. I don't know. Ew, I hate it. I hate that. Can you imagine?
I just want to know what message like it would be trying to convey by doing that.
I don't know.
Because personally, I feel like if I'm a spirit, I'm going to take the time, do all of this. There's got to be a reason for it, and there's got to be a message and something that it's wanting me to do.
Yeah, I suppose, but like I don't know. I don't know. It throws me off. I don't like it.
I don't either. Like I said, I don't like dolls or clowns.
I hate dolls. Clowns, they're not the worst thing to me. I don't love them. Like, I don't know. Why are you dressed up like that, fam?
Because that's the like tradition of it.
I don't know.
But it's creepy.
I don't enjoy that. It's not for me. It's really not for me. I don't know. It's gross in my opinion. Like, you're a clown, do you? But like, it gives me a gross feeling. Clowns give me a gross feeling. I'm not necessarily scared of them. They just give me a gross feeling. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't like clowns, and then I watched it, and then I really don't like clowns.
Yeah, you're welcome for that.
Yeah, I didn't watch hardly any horror movies before we started dating.
You're welcome. Because I like scary movies. If anyone has any good scary movie recommendations, send them my way.
Our like first major date was going to a haunted like corn maze.
I know, and now looking back at it, I don't know how I got a second date.
I think that's just a testament to how wonderful of a person you are.
No, it's just a testament to how funny I am. You're like, man, I hate this haunted house, but she do be funny.
Do you remember when we went to the fair? What was the first ride that we rode?
The fair?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the little valley fair, the little swingy swings.
Yeah,
that go in a circle
with a chain that's this big, like 100 feet up in the air. When I'm afraid of heights.
Yeah. No, for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, it's like you sit in a little basket and you have this tiny little metal rod that goes over you that you pull down. And you just sit there and it swings you in a circle like 100 feet up in the air.
The chair is smaller than the chairs that we are sitting on now. The handrails are smaller. The chain links are itty bitty teeny tiny. And the back of the chair only goes up to like a quarter of your back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're mid back because you're like, you know, average female size.
I
have
am not
a long
average
body.
female size.
I have a long body.
Yeah.
Like, I sit eye level with my brother who is 6'2". No, he's 6'3" or 6'4" when we're sitting here, because I'm just long torsoed and short limbed versus he's kind of the opposite. He's got legs and an average torso. So I sit eye level with him. And so I'm like up in the air, afraid of heights, holding onto these chains, 100 feet in the air, spinning, trying not to tip over backwards, because they have this much support on me.
You were so scared. With this ride, I originally thought it was going to be an easy ride. I was like, oh, this is a nice one to start. You just spin in a circle. Forgetting that you were afraid of heights.
It was the worst one all day. It was the worst one all day.
Which is so funny because we went on the Viper and the Wild Thing and a bunch of other roller coasters.
And those are fine because you're like moving and you're like truly strapped in. You can see what direction you're going and there's like support. And like, I understand that people ride these rides all the time and there's no issue, no problem. And if it wasn't safe, they wouldn't have you doing it. But I feel like there's the individual risk of me just like, I don't know, sneezing and falling out of the chair versus...
A sneeze? You're so weird about your sneezes.
I have aggressive sneezes.
You're weird.
But that was my fear.
You know, I don't even know how we got onto this topic. I'm not gonna lie. Where are we going with this?
We got talking about clowns and other just like freaky things. And then we were talking about the first date.
Oh, yeah.
And then I brought up the other date that scared.
Wow, I'm so impressed that you remembered that, like, little timeline. I had no idea, like, our guests were talking about roller coasters on the podcast today.
Just had to deconstruct it for you. It's all good.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, well, that helps me remember where we were at and what we were actually talking about. But now that I started talking again, it's gone. Like, that 5% of my brain's working today, out the window.
Dolls.
Dolls. Ugh. Hate dolls. I will never. My mom, I don't know why she did this, but when we were little, I was probably about like 10, and she got like 4 dolls. 4, like they look kind of antique-y. Mm-hmm. And they had like a dress and like their hair and a little bonnet. And we had 4 shelves in our room. She's like, oh, I'll put them on the shelves. And she went ding, ding, ding. So then I had dolls watching me while I slept. Hated that. I took them all off, put them in the closet, and then put my own stuff up because I hated it. It's gross. Who does that? Mother! Here, let me have these creepy-ass dolls watch my child while she sleeps. Ew.
So, at my grandparents' house, I believe it was either my mom or my aunt's like doll. And it was a doll with like, you know, standard creepy doll face, red curly hair. I think it might have had a bonnet. I can't really remember for sure. But this thing kind of sat around my grandparents' house for a number of years.
Yep.
And it would sit like on the bench near the living room every once in a while, or was in like the guest room. And that thing freaked me out. And so when I first started watching like the Annabelle type movies, that's what I was thinking about.
That's what you thought about, you poor soul.
Yep, was
Terrifying.
my poor grandparents' doll.
I hate dolls. They're so gross. What is it, like the American Girl dolls? People are like, oh, I want an American Girl doll. No, not me. Get me out of that store.
Barbie.
Well, Barbie's fine. Barbie doesn't bother me. Barbies and Bratz dolls don't really bother me that much. It's like the stuffed dolls are like the more antique-y glass ones.
I mean, yeah, the older like dolls are definitely like the more stereotypically creepy ones, but I feel like in the right context, those ones could be creepy too, hence being arranged perfectly into a cross.
Well, yeah, of course. If they start making crosses at me, like, yeah, now you're creepy, but like...
Like, in my head, I'm just picturing, like...
Stop making weird faces at me today! I was gonna say noises, but that's not what I wanted to come out. Stop making weird faces at me.
That's what I'm picturing.
You're gonna sleep in a different room.
Some dolls just pose and then it's like head turns.
Stop it! Don't look at me. Don't look at me. You're gonna sleep on the couch. You have to, like, be extra nice these next couple hours before we go to bed.
I'm in the doghouse. Time to go sleep in the guest room.
I feel like I'm gonna punch you in the face in the middle of the night because I'm gonna be thinking that you're making this creepy face. I'm gonna punch you.
I'm just gonna wake up so confused as to why my nose is all busted and, like, I have a black eye.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, yeah, why'd you do that? Because you were creeping me out and you deserved it.
I'm just gonna sleep through the whole experience, though. You know it.
I feel like you need to clarify. I've never, like, actually punched you angrily.
Hasn't one of us accidentally kicked the other while we're dreaming?
I kicked you while I was dreaming. Kind of. I don't know why. I was, like, half asleep, half awake. And, like, I just remember, like, something being my way, and I got mad, and I went to kick it as hard as I could, and then I kicked you. And I almost punched you that one time. I think we've told that story on here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's okay.
There have been a couple of times where, like, I twitch in my sleep, and I'm sure I've almost whacked you.
You've almost punched. I'm sure you've hit me lightly while I'm sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyways, should we say bye? Should we have Beanie say bye with us?
Come here, Pops.
Come on, Beanie. Let's
She's
go.
so concerned.
Oh, there she is. Beanie, say bye.
You are a part of this episode, just like everybody else.
Say bye, Beanie.
Thanks for listening, you guys, to our very rambly, kind of meandering episode, but it was a lot of fun.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.